afternoon. My name is Priscilla Rojas, and I am the chair of the BPDA board. Thank you for joining the March 19th, 2026 Economic Development and Industrial Corporation of Boston board meeting. At this time, the Boston Planning and Development Agency is hosting public meetings in a hybrid setting for the health, safety, and accessibility of Boston residents. Hybrid means that our board meetings are conducted in person at City Hall in our boardroom on the 9th floor and virtually via Zoom in Boston City TV. For more information and updates, visit bostonplans.org. The Open Public Meeting Law requires that I notify the public that this meeting is being recorded. Please be aware that an audio and visual recording of this meeting is being made and broadcast by Boston City TV, which is part of the City of Boston Office of Cable Communications at Xfinity Channel 26, RCN Channel 13, and Verizon Fios Channel 962. It is also being live streamed at boston.gov/cable. The Open Public Meeting Law also requires that we ask if there is anyone in the audience who is recording this meeting, and if you're recording this meeting, just please identify yourself now. Anyone else? Great, thank you and welcome. Okay. So the first thing we'll do is call the meeting to roll. Ms. Bennett.
Here.
Mr. Shepard.
Present.
Mr. O'Malley.
Present.
Dr. Landsmark.
Present.
And the chair, Priscilla Rojas. I am present. And now before we move on to our agenda item, we do have a special guest today, Mayor Wu, that would like to come and say a few words to the board.
Good evening, Madam Chair, members of the board, Mr. Director, and Madam Secretary, and Counselor, and the incredible team who are here. We have a great fan club here, and I know every single meeting that you have is impactful, and the influence that each of you have on the city skyline and all throughout the neighborhoods is felt every single day of the year. But this meeting is a very special one. It's one that we will conduct the usual order of business, but also get to celebrate the legacy, the legendary influence of Dr. Ted Landsmark. And so I'm here alongside my colleague, Counselor Reverend Minyard Culpepper, to present an official proclamation. Would you like to join me, Counselor, up here? Okay. I just, before reading the official city document, I want to add to the many, many voices who have already shared just a bit of how you have touched their lives in the course of your guidance, in the course of your vision, and your involvement in the city. And so there are many in this room who are on their career tracks and at this point in their career because of you and because of your example and your mentorship. I know you have counseled mayor after mayor, leader after leader across every sector in the city, but I want to thank you personally for your kindness and mentorship to this former young person, at that point just a, I don't know, 41, I'm over the edge now, but formerly just an acolyte and hopeful practitioner under then Mayor Menino, then City Councilor, who time after time, whether it was through your classes at Northeastern or conversations that you very graciously made time for, and then of course your service and partnership in this role and under our administration. I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart, and I'm so grateful for all that you've done for the city. So I will, actually, Councilor Culpepper, why don't you say some remarks and then we can read this together.
Great, thank you. Thank you, Madam Mayor. And I want to take a moment to recognize Dr. Theodore Ted Landsmark on his final day of service on the BPDA. Dr. Landsmark, your time on this board has meant something to real neighborhoods like the ones I represent, and rooms where decisions can feel distant from the lived experience of residents. You have consistently brought back to people, you've brought back to community, back to fairness, back to who benefits and who gets left out. You've asked the hard questions, you have pushed for a higher standard, you have reminded this board that development in Boston must be done with our communities, not to them. For those of us in District 7, Roxbury, Dorchester, Mattapan, the South End, and Fenway, those questions matter because we know too well what it feels like when development happens around us, but not for us. Your voice on this board helped ensure that those concerns were not just heard, but they were respected. And I would be remiss not to acknowledge what so many in this city carry with them. We remember the day on City Hall Plaza when you were attacked, struck with an American flag, simply for standing for justice. I can remember that day when it happened. I was a teenager, and you know how word spread, and we heard that you had been attacked on City Hall Plaza. And I was with a group of my friends. We said, we're going down to City Hall Plaza. And it has remained with me for all of those years. That moment is part of Boston's history. But what is even more powerful is your response. A lived life in service and dignity, and a deep, unwavering belief that this city can be better. Dr. Landsmark, your distinguished career stands as a testament to what it means to use one gift of service to others, shaping institutions, guiding generations, and helping this city grow not just in size, but in conscience. That kind of witness, that kind of moral clarity is rare. And you brought it with you to every space that you have served, including this board. So today is not just about marking the end of your tenure, it's about honoring the standard that you set, a standard rooted in integrity, in intellect, and a deep love for this city and its people. On behalf of District 7, Dr. Landsmark, thank you for your service, your example, and your continued commitment to Boston. We are a better Boston because of you. And I think about the landmark that you have set for all of us to follow. And I have followed you, and you made me better just watching how you served with integrity, with truth and honesty. And I had no choice except to follow you. God bless you, Dr. Landsmark. Dr. Theodore Landsmark has served with distinction as a member of the Board of Directors of the Boston Redevelopment Authority and Economic Development and Industrial Corporation for the City of Boston since 2014. And
whereas throughout his tenure, Dr. Theodore Landsmark has demonstrated an unwavering commitment to the betterment of residents of our city, providing visionary guidance and steady leadership. And
whereas Dr. Landsmark has played a pivotal role in shaping Boston's urban development, educational landscape, and social justice initiatives, leaving a legacy of service that will benefit the residents of Boston for decades to come. And
whereas Dr. Ted Landsmark's professionalism, integrity, and collaborative spirit have earned him the respect of his fellow board members, City Hall staff, and the citizens of all Boston. And
whereas, as Dr. Landsmark departs from his role, it is fitting that we pause to recognize his extraordinary contributions and express our sincere gratitude for his years of dedicated public service.
now, therefore, I, Michelle Wu, Mayor of the City of Boston, do hereby declare today to be Dr. Ted Landsmark Day in the City of Boston.
So agenda item number 1. Yeah. It's a little underwhelming after that. Okay, so, but, yeah, we'll let people clear a little bit. Okay. No one wants to stay for the minutes.
Right.
I understand. Okay, agenda item number 1.
Okay, there you go.
Request authorization for the approval of the minutes of the February 12th, 2026 board meeting. A motion is in order.
So moved. Second.
All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? The ayes have it. Motion passes. Item number 2, request authorization to enter into a contract with Excel to provide training and case management to students in the Commercial Driver's License Training Program as part of the Bridge Program Training Provider role, an amount of $484,029 for a period of 2.25 years. Doreen.
Thank you. Good afternoon. My name is Doreen Tracy. I'm the Director of Workforce Training and Programs in the City of Boston Worker Empowerment Cabinet, which includes the Office of Workforce Development. Today, I am here to request authorization to execute a contract with Excel for consultant services providing support to the Greater Boston Coalition Resilience Jobs Alliance for up to 2.25 years in an aggregate amount not to exceed $484,029 during the 2.25 years. In August 2024, the Economic Development and Industrial Corporation was awarded $9.8 million Climate Ready Workforce Grant from the Department of Commerce National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, NOAA, for the City of Boston Office of Workforce Development to create the Boston Climate Jobs Alliance, a coalition of 30-plus stakeholders, including training providers, educators, service providers, community engagement partners, climate experts, and employers. The Alliance work is aimed at filling approximately 1,200 jobs committed by 13 employers in family-sustaining coastal and climate resilience occupations over 4 years. Workers trained through the Alliance will be placed in jobs that help advance coastal resiliency strategies. At the January 15th, 2026 board meeting, the Office of Workforce Development requested and received the board's authorization to issue a publicly advertised request for proposals to procure professional services for a bridge program training provider to develop and deliver job readiness and coaching to prepare Boston residents with the training and licensure required for coastal resiliency careers. The consultant will act as a trainer and instructor to the adult learners in the program, guiding them through a curriculum that spans CDL permits, tanker endorsements, and hoisting licenses. The RFP was issued on January 20th, 2026, and 5 firms submitted proposals in response to the RFP. After a review of the technical and fee proposals received, OWD now seeks approval to select the recommended vendor. OWD recommends Excel as the consultant to provide bridge program training and case management services. Excel's proposal describes a clear and comprehensive plan that addresses and complies with all core elements and required submissions stated in the RFP and demonstrates a complete understanding of the key issues and objectives. The proposal clearly summarizes Excel's understanding of the project goals and deliverables and how its approach, experience, and relationships would successfully achieve these goals and deliverables of this contract.
Is that the end of your presentation?
Yes.
Any questions or comments from the board? Okay, seeing here and none, a motion is in order.
So moved. Second.
All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? The ayes have it. Motion passes. Thank you. Item number 3, request authorization to enter into a contract with New England Tractor Trailer Training School of Mass, Inc. to deliver theory and behind-the-wheel training for Boston residents seeking CDL Class B license in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts as part of the NOAA Climate Ready Workforce Grant in an amount of $627,949 for a period of 2.25 years. Doreen.
Thank you. So as I have previously stated, my name is Doreen Tracy, and I am the Director of Workforce Training and Programs at the City of Boston Worker Empowerment Cabinet, which does include the Office of Workforce Development. Today, I am here to also request authorization to execute a contract with New England Tractor Trailer Training School of Mass, NETS, for services providing support to Greater Boston Coastal Resilience Jobs Alliance for 2.25 years in an aggregate amount not to exceed $627,949 during that 2.25-year contract period. As I've previously shared, this work is part of the $9.8 million Climate Ready Workforce Grant from the Department of Commerce, National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, NOAA, for the City of Boston Office of Workforce Development. At the January 15th, 2026 board meeting, the Office of Workforce Development requested and received the board's authorization to issue a publicly advertised request for proposals to procure a professional services for an experienced commercial driver's license CDL training provider to deliver theory and behind-the-wheel training for Boston residents seeking a CDL Class B license in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. The RFP was issued on January 20th, 2026, and 4 firms submitted proposals in response to the RFP. After a review of the technical and fee proposals received, OWD now requests approval to select the recommended vendor. OWD recommends New England Tractor Trailer Training School of Mass, Inc., NETS, as the consultant to provide theory and behind-the-wheel training for Boston residents seeking the Class B license. The New England Tractor Trailer Training School of Mass their proposal describes a clear and comprehensive plan that addresses and complies with all the core elements and required submissions stated in the RFP, and also demonstrates a complete understanding of the key issues and objectives. The proposal clearly summarizes New England Tractor Trailer Training School of Mass, Inc.'s understanding of the project goals and deliverables, and how its approach, experience, and relationships would successfully achieve these goals and deliverables.
Great, thank you. Any questions or comments from the board? Hearing and seeing none, a motion is in order.
So moved. Second.
All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? The ayes have it, motion passes. Sounds like a really great program. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Right, item number 4, personnel. Mike.
Thank you, Madam Chair, members of the board, Madam Secretary, and Director Shen. We have a number of items for your consideration on the EDIC agenda with the exact details included in the board memos. We have 1 contract in the Administration Division, Zachary Gagney. We have 3 internships in the Real Estate Division, Morayo Kamson. In the Administration Division, Pablo Jimenez and Gabriela Nab. We also have 1 resignation in the Urban Design Division, Hashika Bisht, Senior Sustainable Design Reviewer. Thank you, and I'll answer any questions.
Thank you. Any questions or comments from the board? Hearing and seeing none, a motion is in order.
So moved. Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it, motion passes. Thank you very much, Mike. And that was the last agenda item, so I now am looking for a motion to adjourn the EDIC meeting.
So moved. Second.
All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? The ayes have it, EDIC meeting is adjourned. Okay, on to the next meeting. Thank you for joining the March 19th, 2026 Boston Redevelopment Authority Board Meeting. At this time, the Boston Planning and Development Agency is hosting public meetings in a hybrid setting for the health, safety, and accessibility of Boston residents. Hybrid means that our board meetings are conducted in person at City Hall in our boardroom on the 9th floor and virtually via Zoom and Boston City TV at the same time. For more information and updates, visit bostonplans.org. The Open Public Meeting Law requires that I notify the public that this meeting is being recorded. Please be aware that an audio and visual recording of this meeting is being broadcast by Boston City TV, which is a part of the City of Boston Office of Cable Communications at Xfinity Channel 26, RCN Channel 13, and Verizon Fios Channel 962. It is also being live streamed at boston.gov/cable. The Open Public Meeting Law also requires that we ask if there is anyone in the audience who is recording this meeting, that you please identify yourself now. Thank you, Catherine. And Also note that, demonstrations of approval or disapproval from members of the public are not permitted during the meeting. So thank you. So let's start with the roll call. Ms. Bennett?
Present.
Mr. Shepherd?
Present.
Mr. O'Malley?
Here.
Dr. Landsmark?
Present.
And the chair, Priscilla Rojas. I am present. Item number 1, request authorization for the approval of the minutes of February 12, 2026 board meeting. A motion is in order.
So moved. Second.
Roll call for a vote. Oh, no roll calls. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion, the ayes have it. Motion passes. And then I believe this next item, are you going to recuse yourself in this one? Okay. So Dr. Landsmark will be recusing himself from this item. Item number 2, request authorization to schedule a public hearing pursuant to sections 80A-2 and 80B-5 of the Boston zoning code on April 16, 2026 at 5:30 PM or at such a time and date deemed appropriate by the director to consider the Longwood Place Phase 1 project located in the Longwood Medical Area as a development impact project. A motion is in order.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Motion passes. Now, bring Dr. Landsmark back in. Welcome back. Okay, item number 3, request authorization to schedule a public hearing pursuant to sections 80A-2 and 80D-5 of the zoning code on April 16th, 2026 at 5:40 PM or at such a time and date deemed appropriate by the director to consider the First Amendment of the 2025 through 2035 Institutional Master Plan for Harvard University's campus in Alston. A motion is in order.
So moved. Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Motion passes. Item number 4, request authorization to amend the lease with the Urban College of Boston for Suites 100 and 200 located at 2 Boylston Street in the Chinatown neighborhood for a period of 6 years and 4 months, commencing September 1st, 2026 and ending August 31st, 2032. Restructure the rent payments and exercise the first 5-year term renewal option with one additional 5-year term renewal option remaining. Liz.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Good afternoon, members of the board. I'm here today to request the board's approval to amend the BRA's existing lease with the Urban College of Boston, which currently occupies approximately 15,092 square feet on the first and second floors at 2 Boylston Street, which we consider or also known as the China Trade Center in Chinatown. Urban College of Boston is a mission-driven, nonprofit institution serving traditionally underserved urban populations. They offer associate degrees and workforce-oriented certificate programs and have been a longstanding tenant at this location. Their current 10-year lease expires on October 31st, 2027, and includes 2 5-year extension options. The current rental rate ranges from approximately $29 to $31 per square foot, with annual escalations of about 2%. As the board is likely aware, market conditions for Class B office spaces have softened, and the BPDA has been proactively working to retain stable, mission-aligned tenants through strategic lease restructuring. Staff believes that the current lease rate is above market, creating a risk of tenant relocation. Accordingly, we are proposing to restructure the lease to reduce the rental rate for the remaining term and to incentivize Urban College of Boston to exercise its first extension option through 2032. Under the proposed amendment, base rent would be reduced to $21 per square foot to better align with the current market conditions, while annual escalations would increase to 3% to support long-term revenue growth. The restructured term would run from May 1st, 2026 through August 31st, 2032, reflecting the exercised option extension and retaining the second 5-year option. would be retained for future market value if they choose to extend. The total projected rent over the new term is approximately $2.15 million. This restructuring provides a stable, predictable revenue stream with built-in growth, avoids vacancy risk in challenging office market, offers immediate rent relief to secure tenant retention, and it also allows BPDA to retain a long-term community-serving educational institution that supports the continued activation of Chinatown. Importantly, there is no additional tenant improvement allowance or any broker commissions associated with this amendment. In conclusion, staff recommends that the director be authorized to amend the lease with Urban College of Boston for the 15,092 square feet that they occupy at 2 Boylston Street. Thank you, and I'm happy to answer any questions.
Thank you. Questions or comments from the board? Hearing and seeing none, a motion is in order.
So moved. Second.
All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? The ayes have it, motion passes. Thank you. Item number 5, request authorization to enter into a license agreement with the National Park Service for the temporary use of portions of the land where Building 108 was located for a term commencing April 1st, 2026 and ending May 31st, 2028, to support the renovation of adjacent Building 107 in the historic monument area of the Charlestown Navy Yard. Liz.
Thank you. I am here today to request the board's authorization to enter into a license agreement with the National Park Service to temporarily use the vacant parcel known as Building 108 and the surrounding land within the Charlestown Navy Yard for construction laydown in connection with the renovation of Building 107. The National Park Service, which works under the United States Department of Interior, owns Building 107, an approximately 20,000 square foot parcel within the historic monument area of Charlestown Navy Yard. Building 107 is roughly 61,000 square feet structure, currently used for maintenance, storage, and archival purposes. NPS is planning a renovation of Building 107 to support expanded office and administrative space for additional staff. Adjacent to the site is the former Building 108 parcel, which is currently vacant following demolition of an obsolete power plant in 2022. This parcel, Building 108, is under tentative designation to Powerhouse Partners LLC for future development of a life science facility. However, the project is currently on pause due to broader market conditions. As part of the site, the connector building remains in place, structurally links Building 108 and Building 107. So there are requests in that area as well. To support the Building 107 renovation, NPS is requesting temporary use of about 40,000 square feet, which is Building 108 site, and the surrounding land, which I estimated to be around 18,000 square feet, as demonstrated in the memo with Exhibit A in the memo submitted. And they will use that parcel for construction staging, material storage, and construction laydown. And Powerhouse Partners LLC, who are the designated developer, are in support of the temporary use. And the proposed term would run from April 1st, 2026 through May 31st, 2028, with a 60-day termination provision if the site is needed sooner for development. In conclusion, staff recommends that the director be authorized to enter into a license agreement with NPS to support the renovation of Building 108. Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions or comments from the board? All right, hearing and seeing none, a motion is in order.
So moved. Second.
All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? The ayes have it, motion passes.
Thank you.
Thank you, Liz. Item number 6, request authorization to amend the ground lease with Crosstown Center Hotel LLC to allow for the refinance of the project upon acceptable terms to the director of the BRA. Matt.
Thank you, Madam Chair, members of the board, Secretary Polhemus, and Director Shen. My name is Matt Donovan. I am staff counsel from the Office of the General Counsel. But the matter before you today is to renegotiate a portion of the lease with Crosstown Center Hotel LLC. They're our ground tenant. We entered into the original lease in 2002. They currently operate and have developed a 175-room hotel, an adjacent 650-space parking garage. The lease term was for a term of 65 years and expires in 2067. The tenant and the city have worked collaboratively in the past to try and maximize the development possible on this site. Currently, the developer, based on economic conditions, has found itself in a difficult situation. In particular, they have a loan that has come due. The maturity date is the first week in April, and we are trying to work with them right now to find a solution that will allow them to creatively bring in some capital that will be able to discharge this loan and provide us the time to negotiate a longer-term lease amendment and to bring in permanent refinancing. Again, I would just say that this is an interim measure to address a mechanical problem in the lease, and we will be back before the board, hopefully, to negotiate with a longer-term lease amendment that addresses the future health, of the development in the property. I can answer any questions you may have.
Good, thank you. Questions or comments from the board? All right, hearing and seeing none, a motion is in order.
So moved. Second.
All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? The ayes have it, motion passes. Thanks,
you.
Matt. Item number 7, request authorization to extend the contract with Maltby and Company Incorporated for arborist services on BRA-owned property by 90 days, commencing February 17th, 2026, and ending May 18th, 2026. Chris?
Good afternoon, Madam Chair, members of the board, Madam Secretary, Director Shen. I'm requesting authorization for the Director to execute a 90-day extension of the existing contract with Maltby and Company Incorporated for arborist services on BRA-owned property citywide. The extension would continue the contract from February 17th, 2026 through May 18th, 2026. The total contract amount remains unchanged and is not expected to exceed the $120,000, which is within the previously approved $360,000 authorization. This short-term extension will allow staff sufficient time to issue new invitation for bids for a successor arborist services contract while ensuring continuity of services. I'm happy to answer any questions.
Thank you. Any questions or comments from the board? All right, hearing, seeing none, a motion is in order.
So moved. Second.
All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? The ayes have it, motion passes. Thank you. Item number 8, request authorization to execute a contract with Northeast Weathered Services for landscaping and maintenance services in the downtown waterfront area in the amount of $128,725 annually for a term of 3 years with 2 one-year term renewal options. Chris?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I am here today to request authorization for the Boston Redevelopment Authority to enter into contract with Northeast Weather Services for landscaping and maintenance services at BRA-owned properties along the downtown waterfront. This contract will cover the central and Long Wharf areas of the city of Boston. Under the scope of work, the selected contractor will provide comprehensive landscaping services, including planting, weeding, watering, mulching, pruning, and removal of dead vegetation, as well as daily trash collection from receptacles, periodic power washing of park services, and snow removal within the designated contract area. An invitation for bids was issued on February 17th, 2026, followed by a pre-bid conference on February 19th, 2026. 9 bids were received by the March 10th, 2026 deadline. Northeast Weather Services was determined to be the lowest responsible and responsive bidder. The resulting contract is not expected to exceed $450,000 for the initial 3-year term. This represents an ongoing operational expense necessary to ensure the continued safety, cleanliness, and overall quality of the downtown waterfront for visitors and tenants. I'm happy to answer any questions.
Okay. Any questions or comments from the board? All right, hearing and seeing none, a motion is in order.
So moved. Second.
All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? The ayes have it, motion passes. Item number 9, Chris again. Request authorization to amend the contract with M. Neves Incorporated for snow removal services on BRA-owned properties in the amount not to exceed $25,000. Chris?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I'm requesting authorization to amend the existing contract for citywide site maintenance services on BRA-owned properties. On December 15, 2022, the BRA Board authorized the Director to enter into a 1-year contract with M. Neves Incorporated with 2 one-year extension options in an amount not to exceed $150,000 per year. The current contract term ended on February 12, 2026 of this year. Over the course of this past contract year, the volume of required maintenance work increased significantly due to ongoing property upgrades and higher than normal site conditions. As a result, the annual contract funds have been fully expended earlier than anticipated. In addition, recent snow events generated unplanned snow removal and site stabilization needs, further accelerating the use of available funds. Because these cost drivers were operationally necessary and could not be deferred, without compromising property conditions and safety. An amendment is required to pay for the services through the remaining of that contract term. We are therefore requesting an increase of $25,000 to the current contract amount. With this amendment, the total contract value will not have exceeded $175,000. I am happy to answer any questions.
Thank you. Questions or comments from the board? Hearing and seeing none, a motion is in order.
So moved. Second.
All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? The ayes have it, motion passes. Thank you,
so much.
Chris.
Happy retirement, sir. Thank you.
All right, item number 10. Request authorization to petition the Boston Zoning Commission to adopt a text amendment to resolve language and clerical errors in the Boston Zoning Code. Tharika.
Hello. That's not the right slide. No. So sorry. Yes.
Maybe the next slide?
Yes, this
There
is
we
it.
go.
Okay. Thank you so much, Madam Chair, members of the board, Director Shen, and Secretary Polhemus. My name is Tharika Lakamwasam, and I'm a planning assistant on the zoning reform team. Today, I'll be presenting to you all about the proposed zoning amendment to resolve language and clerical errors in the Boston Zoning Code. Next slide, please. The Boston Zoning Code represents approximately 4,000 pages of amendments and additions made over the last 50 years. Some of these amendments have contained small clerical errors and the need for language clarifications for the general public. The amendment before you today would resolve a set of such errors and clarifications currently existing in the zoning code. This amendment contains 6 errors spread across 5 articles. These errors have been identified and collected on an ongoing basis through staff review of the code and notification from other peer departments. This update will not establish new regulations and will not change the functioning of the code's existing regulations, as it serves instead to improve the code's accuracy and ensure proper accessibility to our city's zoning rules and requirements. Next slide, please. The first error before you removes the mention of a section of Article 3 within Article 31. The amendment would remove this mention in its entirety, as it is not legally necessary, and removing it increases clarity. Next slide, please. Through this amendment, we will be striking all mentions of the Midtown Cultural District and its corresponding articles due to our newly adopted Article 31 that established our skyline districts, fully replacing the Midtown Cultural District. Next slide, please. In Article 53, Table G, we will be correcting maximum active use depth to minimum active use depth. This correction will no longer limit the active use depths of the lots regulated by this table. Next slide, please. Additionally, in Article 53, Table G, we will be adding sub-district to all the titles and minimum side yard and rear yard to clarify that these regulations apply to the sub-districts rather than just the neighboring use. Next slide, please. In Article 60, Table A, we will be removing reference to a footnote that no longer exists in this code. Next slide, please. Lastly, in Article 80A, Section 2, we will be replacing the highlighted sections with the corresponding correct sections of the article as a result of renumbering. Next slide, please. The zoning reform team continues to implement a review process before and after the implementation of our amendments into Muni Code. Through this process, we are hoping for a continued reduction of errors in our zoning adoption process and speedy resolution of errors and clarifications as they continue to be identified across the code. Next slide, please. Thank you so much for your time, and happy to take any questions.
Okay, thank you. Any questions or comments from the board?
I have one, Madam Chair. So you've heard of the expression, you had me at hello, you had me at amendments to the zoning code, because it is incredibly convoluted. So well done, appreciate that this is difficult and arduous work. So I think it's great, fully support it. From a process point of view, some of these are clerical in nature, others might be a little more reflective of changes that we've done. What do you need to do to adopt them? Does the zoning commission have to sign off on them?
After this, yes, correct.
Okay, so you present it, goes to the zoning commission, then they ratify. ZBA doesn't play a role.
ZBA does not.
Perfect. Okay, great. Well, good luck and keep up the good work.
Thank you so much.
Okay, great. Any further questions or comments? Hearing and seeing none, a motion is in order.
So moved. Second.
All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? The ayes have it, motion passes.
Thank you so much.
Item number 11, request authorization to grant permission to the director to sign the Municipal Planning Board notification form on behalf of the Boston Redevelopment Authority Board, signifying that they have been notified of the intention of Seaport G Title Holder LLC, care of WS Development, to file a Chapter 91 license application with the Department of Environmental Protection for the project located at Seaport Square Block G. Alana.
Thanks. Good evening, Chair Rojas, Secretary Polimas, members of the board, and Director Shen. My name's Alana Hames, and I am presenting to inform you of one project seeking a Chapter 91 license. You already got a sneak peek pursuant to the Public Waterways Act. Part of said licensing process involves notifying the Municipal Planning Board or local equivalent of a project's application for a license. This Chapter 91 application is for development at Seaport Square Block G, the last of the Seaport Square parcels to need Chapter 91 approvals. The project at Block G is expected to meet all stipulations set forth by the Code of Massachusetts Regulations 310 CMR 9.00 waterways with respect to projects on tidelands serving a non-water dependent use. Per the license application, the proposed project adheres to the regulations as amended by the South Boston Municipal Harbor Plan. Such provisions include substitutions and amplifications for the locations of facilities of public accommodation and open space, providing a minimum 1 to 1.25 ratio of open space for all area provided outside of Chapter 91 jurisdiction in lieu of the regular 1-to-1 ratio within the Chapter 91 boundary. This project was last before the BPDA board with a notice of project change in December of 2022, at which point it received Article 80 approval. Thank you, and I'm happy to take any questions.
Thank you. Any questions or comments from the board? All right, hearing and seeing none, a motion is in order.
So moved. Second.
All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? The ayes have it, motion passes. Thank you, Alana. Item number 12, request authorization to issue a scoping determination waiving further review pursuant to Section 80A-2 and Section 80B-5.3D of the zoning code for the proposed 280 through 300 Washington Street project. To issue a certification of compliance pursuant to Section 80B-6 of the zoning code upon successful completion of the Article 80B large project review process, accept a quitclaim deed for a certain temporary and limited property interest in the proposed project site, and to enter into a contract for payment in lieu of taxes among the City of Boston, the BRA, and the proponent in connection with the proposed project, and to take any and all actions and execute any and all documents, including without limitation executing and delivering a cooperation agreement, an affordable rental housing agreement, and restriction, and to take all related actions. Dylan.
Good evening, Madam Chair, members of the board, Director Shen, and Secretary Polhemus. My name is Dylan Norris, and I'm a project manager in the Development Review Division of the Planning Department, and I'm here before you to present an applicant of Mayor Wu's downtown to office to residential conversion program, the proposed Article 80B large project located at 280 to 300 Washington Street in the downtown neighborhood of Boston, as well as the proposed 121B agreement to effectuate the downtown residential conversion incentive pilot program. On December 9th, 2025, 249 Washington Street owner LLC, the proponent, applied to Mayor Wu and the BPDA's downtown residential conversion incentive pilot program. The pilot program was authorized by this board on October 12th, 2023, and offers to approved applicants a tax abatement in exchange for converting their underutilized office building into multifamily residential rental units. The October board vote authorized the creation of a demonstration project plan area in downtown Boston where the BPDA is able to act pursuant to Massachusetts General Law Chapter 121B and provide a contract in payment of lieu of taxes pursuant to said chapter. Based off BPDA staff review under Article 80 and review under the pilot program, the proponent has been selected to receive a pilot agreement based off the pilot program criteria. The proponent will, upon approval by the BPDA board, enter into a pilot agreement among the City of Boston and the BPDA. If approved today, the city and the BPDA will provide the proposed project an average tax abatement of up to 75% of the assessed residential value for a term of 29 years, terms which are consistent with the October 2023 board vote. In order to comply with the rules and regulations under Massachusetts General Law Chapter 121B Section 16, the BPDA and the city must take an interest in the project site. In order to effectuate that, the BPDA and the owner of 249 Washington Street will enter into a deed agreement which conveys limited rights in the 249 Washington Street property. Additionally, the owner and the BPDA will enter into an indemnification agreement to ensure that the BPDA does not have any liability on the property. On January 14th, 2026, the proponent team filed a letter of intent with the BPDA. Based on the letter of intent submitted, Planning Department staff recommended to the director that we issue a letter of waiver for the formation of an impact advisory group. The proposed project does not include any major external construction, as it is an adaptive reuse of the current underutilized commercial space and is an applicant of the pilot program and complies with the requirements of the executive order, and thus the IAG requirement was waived. A project notification form was then filed with the BPDA on January 16th, 2026, submission of which initiated the large project review process. The BPDA hosted a virtual public meeting on February 3rd, 2026, which was well attended and well received. The public meeting was noticed through the BPDA's events calendar and sent to subscribers of the Downtown Neighborhood Distribution List, and the comment period closed March 12th of 2026. You can go to the next slide. Yep. So the project site, located at 280 to 300 Washington, consists of an approximately 24,700 square foot parcel bounded by Spring Lane to the north, Sewell Place to the east, Milk Street to the south, and Washington Street to the west, within the downtown financial district of Boston. The site is currently occupied by an existing 11-story, approximately 220,000 square foot office building with ground floor retail space, also historically known as the Old South Building, constructed in 1902 to 1904. The proposed project proposes the adaptive reuse of the existing 11-story office building to the conversion of approximately 206 square feet of vacant office spaces on floor 2 through 11 into approximately 202,000 new square feet of residential units, while maintaining approximately 12,000 square feet for the existing retail tenants on the ground floor. This conversion will result in approximately 255 new residential rental apartments on floor 2 through 11 and associated residential amenities in the building's ground floor and basement. The residential mix will include 22 compact studios, 105 studio units, as well as 19 compact one-bedrooms and 30 two-bedroom units. 13 of the units proposed will be Group 2 accessible units in compliance with the ADA standards, as well as 12 units will be voluntarily designated as Group 1. The project will also provide 52 affordable rental units for the project, which is 20% of the total unit count, 44 of which will be inclusionary zoning units at 60% of the area and median income, and 8 units will be reserved for HUD voucher recipients. Thank you. That concludes my presentation. We have additional slides for the ground floor plans and unit layouts, and I'm joined by the proponent team if you have any questions for them, but thank you.
Thank you. Questions or comments from the board?
Yeah, I'll start. Madam Chair, thank you. It is a recurring theme that you'll hear probably from my colleagues as well, is about how Boston really is doing it right with these residential conversions. It's a completely different world. You know, this week was the 6th anniversary of the world shutting down essentially with the pandemic, and how cities have adapted. It's been really interesting to see. This is a great building. I mean, you can see in the lower corner, that's one of the downtown crossing exits. The Green Line is a couple of blocks away. It's fantastic. So fully supportive. Couple of questions. Talk to me about the difference in square footage between a compact studio and a compact one bed and a one bed.
Yeah, so that distinction is primarily based off the Mayor's Office of Houses price ranging for units that fall below 450 square feet. Generally speaking, for the office to residential conversion program, although the compact living pilot has sunsetted, we are allowing applicants up to 20% of their units to fall within those ranges. They do need to be compliant with the Mayor's Office of Housing's AMI ranges and pricing when they go to the lottery system, but they're a little smaller and need a little bit more fine tuning when it comes to what types of beds they use, what type of amenities can be situated in the building. So they're a little bit more of a compact unit, but with a lot of these historic buildings, it's really tough to squeeze in enough units within the window layouts. So it's just one tool that we can use to make sure that we're maximizing the floor plates.
Totally get it, and believe me, I think we should have more smaller units. I mean, I think that works, and it's another way to help spur the. I'd love to see the growth in numbers, so it's great. So what's the square footage of a compact studio?
So it would be sub 450 square feet for a studio. I believe the range in this project is around 440 to 450 for some of those, with the smallest being 425, but I can have the proponent team expand on that if they want. But for one beds, that goes up to anything below 650 square feet, and it scales from there and there. So I think the smallest one bed in this building is around 575 square feet, but it will be priced as a compact if they were to select that as an inclusionary zoning unit.
And is there any sort of traditional studio that would be larger than a compact one bed?
Yeah, there are traditional.
In recognizing that when you've got a readaptive use, you have to be clever with how you put things up.
Yeah,
So,
there's several studios that are within the 470 range and higher. It's just some of these layouts do have a unique unit.
Yeah.
Some of these units have a unique layout, especially when you consider adding in MEPs, and as we dive into the construction documents, those square footages adjust, and we need to be cognizant of that.
Yeah, and I'm curious if we've seen any, similar buildings that have done these, how do they sell? How do they rent? I'm sure the attraction is a smaller price, trade-off is a smaller unit. Any anecdotal evidence you've seen, or perhaps the developers, if they've done this before?
Will, I think I'm turn that one to you on pricing and marketing.
Hi.
Hi.
Thank you, everyone. I'm Will Grosvenor with Synergy. So we did a whole competitive market study. We're basically looking at, $5 to $6 rent per square foot, which is, in line with what we're seeing from a market perspective. This is a relatively new program that, is still being rolled out, but we feel very good about the fact that it's right downtown on Washington Street, downtown crossing, a lot of vibrancy, and what it's effectively going to do is bring everything back downtown, right? People want to be closer to their office. People want to be closer to the retail. So we feel very good about the way that we've actually comped this out in the way that we're, going to be selling these units, leasing these units, I guess.
And just to be clear, I'm not being critical of the small size. I think we should do them more. I like these residential conversions. I like seeing the numbers grow, and I think that there will certainly be a market of folks who want to downsize or want to rent their own place, get their own place, maybe with roommates. And if the price point is more competitive, we absolutely should do it. So I wish you well. I think it's a fabulous location, and I think it'll be great to see some neighbors as I walk by that building when I go to work every day.
We're very excited.
Go ahead. No.
Yeah, just echoing, it's great to see these projects. I think we've had ones every month, and it's just clearly a really successful program. I'm not sure we've had one that's delivering this many affordable units to date, and so that's really exciting to see, especially. Thank you.
Yeah, this is the largest office to residential applicant we've had through the program so far.
Yes, definitely one of the largest project we've had so far. And I know in the area, a lot of vacancy on the retail side. Are there any plans or any thoughts or ideas for the retail?
Hello again. So generally speaking, we're planning on keeping the retail in place. Washington Street is a massive retail corridor. We truly believe in the corridor and think that it is only going to add to the residential aspect of our development. So we're working with our existing tenants. We'd like to keep them in place through construction, which, there will be some sort of maneuvering and logistics associated with that. But ultimately, there's no plan to change the existing retail, and ultimately think that it's just going to improve the value of that retail as well.
And with the size of this project and the fast track of going through the process for these projects that we definitely love, have you considered a general contractor? Are you dealing with any general contractors?
We've spoken with a number. Consigly's been doing a lot of our pre-development work, but we've spoken to a few of them, just trying to understand, just general pricing, getting sort of general scope, logistics. We obviously don't have a CMP in place at this point because we're so early on, but just sort of the initial planning, sort of early development, pre-development type of scope.
Yes, this is a unique but yet still prized area, and we would love to see responsible general contractors working in the area.
We will not hire anyone who's irresponsible, I promise.
Thank you very much.
Right.
This is an area that's full of students. Has consideration been given to assuring that this doesn't essentially become student housing?
That is not our current plan. No, it is not. It is not we're not proposing this as student housing at this point. We're obviously going to be open to all applicants and sort of understand what that looks like, but no, it's not being proposed as a student housing.
What will prevent it from becoming student housing?
We can certainly put some measures in place where we're ensuring that it's not becoming kind of a dorm party house, which we can work with you guys on. We, quite frankly, haven't necessarily even really thought about that, but we're certainly not. We want this to be more or less a Class A type of, sort of building that has nice operations, that has, the service and everything else, all the qualities that, we think is going to represent our brand, but also represent sort of downtown.
Any additional questions or comments? Okay, hearing and seeing none, a motion is in order.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it, motion passes. Thank you, and
Thank you.
good luck. Okay, item number 13, request authorization to approve the second amendment to the Olmsted Village Smart Growth Development Plan, amending the Smart Growth Development Plan for the Olmsted Village Subdistrict pursuant to Section 87-11 and 87-12 1 of the zoning code, and to issue one or more certificates of approval pursuant to Section 87-11.5 of the zoning code for any project component and/or phase thereof, and to take all related actions. Quinn. Oh, no,
Good
not Quinn.
afternoon.
You're not Quinn. I was like,
It's not Quinn. Good afternoon. I'm Nupur Malani, Senior Deputy Director for Development Review. I'm filling in for Quinn, who's unfortunately out sick today, but all credit on this project goes to him. Thank you for that introduction, Madam Secretary, Madam Chair, members of the board, and Director Shen. The proposal before you is for the second amendment to the Olmsted Village Smart Growth Development Plan. This is a previously approved Article 80 large project in Mattapan. This project and the associated Smart Growth Development Plan were approved by the board at the February 2023 BPDA board meeting and subsequently amended through an approval at the August 2024 board meeting. Since that time, the proponents have been advancing conversations with the Smart Growth Program team at the Executive Office of Housing and Livable Communities with the state. Those conversations identified that the developable acreage for the site, which is a specific metric that is identified in the BPDA's approval for this project, had been miscalculated in the project's initial submission and its approval. And through the state process, it has been determined that the developable area is 6.44 acres, not 7.25, as was previously approved. As a result, the corresponding number of units allowed per acre has changed from 40 to 45. So there are no changes to the physical project itself, no changes to the units that are being approved, but this is sort of more a clerical error based on sort of the maths that determines the density here. So that is really the content of this amendment. It concludes the presentation for this update. Zoe Weinrobe from the development team is here and will answer any questions if there are any from the board about the project, and I'll conclude my remarks. Thank you.
thank you. Any questions or comments from the board? Okay, hearing and seeing none, a motion is in order.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? The ayes have it, motion passes. Thanks. Okay, item number 14. Request authorization to issue a certification of approval pursuant to Article 80E Small Project Review of the Zoning Code in connection with the third notice of project change for the proposed creation of 24 residential rental units and 17 car parking spaces located at 69A Street, and to take all related actions. Stephen.
Good afternoon. Thank you, Madam Chair, members of the board, Madam Secretary, and Director Shen. My name is Stephen Harvey, and I'm a Senior Project Manager at the Planning Department, and I want to thank you for your time today. The project I bring before you today is 69 A Street, located in South Boston. To clarify any errors, the proposal is the third notice of project change for the proposed creation of 24 residential rental units with 17 car parking spaces. Next slide, please. The current and third MPC proposal seeks to change the use of an approved and existing building envelope. Originally, the project received approval back on January 4th, 2016, for a 6-story mixed-use commercial office building with retail and on-site parking. On June 27, 2018, the first MPC was filed, and the new proponent, CIEE Inc., along with the new proponent, there was some changes made to the building. The proponent reduced the project by removing the 6th floor and the entire rear addition. The first MPC was approved on August 16, 2018. The second MPC, filed on January 5, 2021, sought to address the severe hardship imposed upon CIEE by the COVID pandemic by repurposing the use within the constructed building. The proponent partnered with Phase 3 Real Estate to propose a new use at the site, research and development. Again, the second MPC proposal did not result in any expansion to the building envelope, only a change in use. The second MPC was approved on July 15, 2021. The third and current MPC seeks approval to convert floors 2 through 4 from the approved office lab use to multifamily residential use. The MPC proposal will retain an active ground floor and basement fitness center, as well as the limited office space on the 5th floor. The proposal contemplates interior modifications with no significant changes to the building's exterior appearance, height, or footprint. On February 24th, 2026, a virtual public meeting was held for the MPC. The comment period for the project ended on March 13th, 2026. With that said, I would like to pass it over to Cyrus from the planning team to go over a planning context for the project. Thank you.
Thanks, Stephen. My name is Cyrus Maselli, and I'm the planner assigned to this project. The proposed project at 69 A Street is located within a multifamily residential local services subdistrict in South Boston. Its surrounding context consists of a variety of 4 to 6-story structures, which house a range of existing commercial and multifamily residential land uses. The site is transit accessible, located within 500 feet of both MBTA bus and subway service. The project scope, which converts existing vacant office space into 24 units of housing, aligns with the subdistrict's stated goals of increasing housing availability through contextual mid-density development. Outside of limited alterations to the structure's roof to add things like safety guardrails, the proposal involves only interior renovations to be made within the existing approved and constructed building envelope. While multifamily residential land uses are allowed for the site, the project will still require zoning relief for several items, including insufficiencies in lot area, parking, and usable open space. These are not triggered by a drastic change in the site's existing context, but rather due to South Boston zoning setting significantly stricter dimensional requirements calculated on a per dwelling unit basis for residential versus commercial land uses. Because the project does not propose any significant changes to the structure's existing site or building envelope outside of the new proposed blue bike station on the site, the physical impact of these violations will be minimal. Thank you very much, and now I'll turn it back over to Stephen.
Thank you, and I would also like to add to the record that Councilor Flynn supported the project. With that, the project attorney, Cyrus, and I are happy to take any questions from the board.
Okay. Any questions or comments from the board?
Quickly, I'll just say, many attempts on this building, and I think the last attempt would have been a boutique hotel, but we're gonna go instead with the apartment buildings, which I love. The building's actually ahead of its time with the mass timber inside. I think it'll be beautiful for these apartment buildings, and I think a lot of people will be adapting to that going forward. So I hope it works out, and great location, and I hope everything works out well.
Additional questions or comments? All right, hearing and seeing none, a motion is in order.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? The ayes have it, motion passes. Thanks, Stephen. And item number 15, contractual payments. I need a motion to pay our bills.
I move that we pay our bills.
That's a second.
All right. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? The ayes have it. Motion passes. Please pay the bills. And finally, item number 16, Director's update. Director Shen, the floor is yours.
Walk that building.
Good evening, members of the board. I want to start my report this month by highlighting the office to residential conversion of the largest proposal that we've seen in the program. This project will create 255 new homes in downtown, including 52 income-restricted units. This project represents a new scale of the conversion program and highlights the program's increasing momentum and its tangible impact in the downtown. Now, at this count, we will surpass 1,700 units of office. Well, we've created 1,700 units of new housing from underutilized office space. Well, today is a special day. I would also like to join in celebrating, the service of Dr. Ted Landsmark, and whose last meeting is tonight. Dr. Landsmark has been the longest-serving board member, beginning 12 years ago in 2014, appointed by Mayor Walsh. In that time, he has overseen a significant amount of planning and development around the city of Boston during the largest building boom in the city's history. I just want to highlight a few important projects that you were part of approving. The largest single development approval that was Suffolk Downs, Winthrop Center, which is one of the tallest mixed-use buildings in the downtown core, the redevelopment of Old Colony, Mildred Haley and Orient Heights Apartments, which are in important parts of our neighborhood. Another important master plan approval, which is the Harvard Enterprise Research Campus, which is the single largest proposal by an institution. Boston Landing, another landmark project in a part of town that was previously industrial. And then one of the largest mixed-use projects in the city itself, which is the hub on Causeway. Now, in addition to these specific development projects, Dr. Landsmark has also overseen some important zoning initiatives that were advanced under his tenure. So I'll just list a few. Plan Mattapan, Plan Downtown, which we adopted zoning just last year. Plan Charlestown, Plan East Boston, Plan Dot Ave. Maybe not as important, but still critical, the Western Avenue Corridor rezoning study, which is connected to the Harvard Enterprise Research Campus. The first set of the Squares and Streets projects, zoning initiatives, which is in Roslindale. The Stewart Street Planning Study, which actually was the first form-based zoning that we adopted in the authority. And of course, you've been intimately involved in the adoption and implementation of the Article 80 modernization, which started under Mayor Wu. And then not last, and certainly not least, the Austin-Brighton Mobility Plan. So this is just to highlight a few of the things that you have been involved in, and the planning department has been involved in the decade, more than one decade of your service. In a summary of the sort of impact, during your tenure, the board has approved over 60,000 units of housing, including more than 15,000 of them being income-restricted units. I think you've already heard from the tribute from the Councillor Culpepper and Mayor Wu that you have always championed Boston becoming a place that everyone can call home, a city that is certainly more diverse and equitable because of your service. Dr. Landsmark has also, of course, been a leader in the arts and built environment over the course of the decades that since you transplanted yourself from New York to Boston. We won't hold that against you. Of course, we love you dearly for that. And you have served as board member, administrator, and professor at some of the most important institutions in the city, including Northeastern, Harvard,
MIT, and of course, serving as president of the Boston Architectural College for over 17 years. You have had an important impact on city planning, nurturing a generation of architects and planners who have gone on to impact how the city of Boston has grown and changed over the years. And of course, I was one of the young folks that was had been inspired by your service and your role model. We will always be grateful to you, Dr. Landsmark, for your dedication and really grateful for the impact you've had on our city. So on behalf of the Planning Department and the BPDA Board, I would like to extend my most sincerest thanks for your service. Thank you, Ted.
If I could just say a word in conclusion, none of the accomplishments which have been significant would have been possible without the great staff of this agency, present and past. This is the hardest working, smartest group of professionals that one could ever have hoped to have worked with, and I'm very grateful for the work of all of the staff at this agency. So thank you to you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Madam Chair, that concludes my report.
Thank you, thank you. I'm just going to open up the floor for board members if they would like to say anything.
I will kick things off. As I mentioned last night, Dr. Landsmark is someone I know we all count on as a mentor. And I very proudly had the opportunity to cast a vote in 2014 as a member of the council to put you on this board. And then 8 years later or 9 years later to be able to serve with you is something I never imagined doing. But you are someone whose quiet strength, I think, has shaped this city far more than maybe any of us could truly comprehend. You are someone who has given so much of yourself and your smarts and your love and your passion to making Boston the city that we know we can be. And it is a legacy that is just truly remarkable. I have learned so much from you. We've all been joking. We know you're not going anywhere, and we look forward to you holding us accountable and holding our feet to the fire, and we know you will. But I just wanted to say I'm truly lucky and a far better board member for have serving and learned from you, and I'm just so grateful for your friendship and mentorship and support through the years. So thank you, Dr. Landsmark.
Thank you. Dr. Landsmark, I would just like to thank you. I echo a lot of the sentiments a lot of people have said, but also for myself, I would say I looked up to you as a child and as an adult as well. I'm glad to be a part of this board with you and glad to share time with you. Thank you very much.
Cool.
Dr. Landsmark, we will truly miss you. You deserve all of the accolades that you've gotten today and tonight. In terms of your influence on the city, your commitment to the city and to service, your incredible career, many accomplishments. But I would have to say, Ted, what I love most about you is that you don't wave any of that around. You're a celebrity, but you, as Matt said, you have a quiet strength and a quiet integrity. When you speak, it's very pointed, but it's measured, and you just don't take up very much air. And I just think that that's a beautiful thing. And so, wish you well, and I hope we stay in touch.
Thanks, I will.
I guess that just leaves me. Again, echo all the accolades you've received today. But, for the past 10 years, this board kind of has like a rhythm all of its own. And I think that's kind of one of the things that I cherish so much about that. And in every meeting, 30 or 40 times, I say a motion is in order, and I've never had to even look up because I know that the next 2 words I'll hear are Ted's a solid so moved that I could count on always hearing from my right. And of course, there's our favorite ritual, the contractual agenda item, when I ask for a motion to pay our bills, and Ted, with his trademark blend of gravitas and wit, says, "I move we pay our bills," and we all have a little giggle. And yeah, it's these small moments that kind of just has been an honor for me. And the truth is, like, the bill the city owes you for decades of leadership is one like we can never truly settle. You have a way of making everyone in this room feel like they belong, especially me when I came in, just a 33-year-old, excited to contribute. And for a decade, through every long night and every hard deliberation, you've been that steady energy with that simple and encouraging head nod that you've always given me. That gave me the confidence to be able to sit in this chair, a chair a woman has never sat in before. And I believed that I belonged in it, and you made me believe that. And for that, I'm so grateful. And you didn't just serve this board, you built a bridge to the next generation. We've been here with the pleasure of learning from you. And so from, Imagine Boston 2030 to Squares and Streets, it's really been an honor to learn from you and to have had the opportunity to help shape the future of the city together. You're a man of history, and Boston is just a more just and beautiful and inclusive space because you chose to serve that. And so for the final time with you by my side, I know it's not on the agenda, but I feel like a motion is in order to express our deepest gratitude to you, Dr. Ted Landsmark.
So moved. Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
The ayes have it. Thank you so much. And with that, I need a final motion to adjourn this meeting.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes have it. Motion passes. Meeting adjourned. Thank you, Dr. Landsmark. And we'll see the rest of you next month.